Okay, so Chille DeCastro from DeleteLawz is suing Accountability for All and one or two other channels, Lackluster being one of them, I believe. Don't sue me if I'm wrong, Chille. And I just want to kind of go through, he's live right now, and I want to go through his reasoning. Let's see if I can get to, here, let's see.
Is that had he received such funding, we would have formalized the arrangement through a contract and I would have commenced work. As you may or may not have heard, I have filed a federal tort lawsuit against three people: Dale Hiller of Lackluster, Josh Abrams of Accountability for All, and I like the work he does in the community, but he was never willing to come to the table, retract his statements, and just say he was sorry, which is really all I...
Dude, because a man is not willing to apologize to him, he's running to government to solve his problems. This is a guy that makes a living off of calling people jackboot thug pigs. That's why he always looks like he's scheming. That's why the fucker always walks around with a shit-eating grin on his face, half hidden. Okay, look at it. He can't wipe it off his face. Maybe he's got a bad plastic surgeon. Don't sue me, Chille.
All I wanted. Others did. He didn't. I do want to sue Josh Abrams because I want you guys to see the kind of person that guy actually is. I'm going to show you exactly the reasons why I'm
You're showing us who you are, buddy.
suing Lackluster.
There are a lot more incidents that have gone through the court. The reason those things haven't came out yet is because we are protecting a few people. And there are a few people that we can't allow them to have their lives damaged or destroyed. There are victims. There is proof of it. That's all I can say for now. Hopefully more will be revealed.
That is not true at all. False accusation of having victims in ongoing court cases, falsely claiming someone has victims and is involved in active litigation is defamation per se. Amplified by massive
What a bitch, dude. What a bitch. You have a huge platform and can easily shut down any rumors about yourself, but you're turning to the fucking government? How fucking embarrassing, Chille DeCastro.
platform with 1 million plus subscribers, widespread publication, and exponentially greater harm. This accusation implies multiple serious issues. Criminal victimization suggests crimes were committed against others. Active legal proceedings implies formal charges or lawsuits exist. Pattern of harm suggests multiple people were damaged. Ongoing threat implies continued danger to others. There's nothing working itself through the court system that's a victim.
And if it's untrue, it'll show itself to be untrue, won't it? Chille DeCastro. The truth always comes out.
Of mine, and that is the exact definition of defamation per se, to say that I have victims of violence. In 2020, maybe you guys have heard this before, but I had a huge TikTok following at 750 million views in 3 months. And then I got into a fight with a rapper named Talib Kweli. I went to his Twitter because back then I was looking for someone to lead in helping me overturn Terry versus Ohio. Now I realize I have to lead this all the way to the end. Talib Kweli, I went to this guy and I said, hey, let's talk about Terry versus Ohio. And he said, stay out of black people issues. I said, well, then get on your knees. The first 4 words of a Terry stop.
Get on your knees or I will tase you. Do what I tell you to do, you motherfucker.
Get on your knees, put your hands behind your back. Get on your knees. And Talib Kweli then took a screenshot of that in 2020, right after George Floyd had been killed, and sent it off to 1,000 different blue-checked influencers on Twitter. I had a mob of people come at me calling me a racist. It was the most surreal experience.
So he made your words public and people held you accountable? I mean, come on, buddy. Not sure this video is going to end up having the effect you're hoping it will. Hell, maybe it will, and my video will make me look like a fool. But just to clear things up, this is covered under transformative property or as transformative use, and should be covered under the fair use defense. So yeah, let's keep going.
Now, if someone says, "Oh, you're racist," they go, "Oh yeah, me too." Ha! Now, calling someone a racist doesn't ruin them because we know what it is. It's what it's used for. This guy right here is called that Dinesh guy. He is the foremost expert besides Tizzy Yint on tracking down racists. And when all this was going on about November 3rd, 2020, this guy right here, that Dinesh guy, he called me. I have the phone call recorded. I keep a record of everything. He said to me, "Do you know who I am?" I said, I have no idea. Who is this? He said, "I'm that Dinesh guy." I said, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that tracks down the racists, right?" And he goes, "Exactly. Have you said anything about me?" And I said, well, "Wait a minute." I said, I have to believe that you've called every single person I've ever known because all defamation per se triggers. It accuses them of federal criminal fraud.
Hold on, we got to go back.
Thing is, he comes, he films in Massachusetts. People's attention, some stuff that's been going on. I've been kind of quiet the past 10 days, but I think as you guys,
not a huge fan of accountability for all, but that does not speak on his character. That's just opinion.
DeleteLawz, he comes, he films in Massachusetts.
So he claimed that 10 days after Memorial Day that I had been threatening him, blackmailing him, doing something where I'd been threatening him.
Which one is it though, Chille? Is it threatening, blackmailing, or doing something? You know, if it's bad enough to instigate a lawsuit over, then maybe it should be maybe it should be pretty clear which one it is, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Or he couldn't release a video of me that was supposedly damning.
You have to understand that this guy has set up, now Kate, you want to...
Supposedly, it's SUPP, OSED, as in David, LY, or as in DeCastro, LY. It's not supposedly. That was pretty cathartic.
You want to tell people about how his businesses work? Because, I mean, my basic understanding is he sets up these businesses to get monetary assistance from investors and then to apply for lines of credit. But once it comes to actually registering the businesses, he lets it fall flat, starts a new business, and then kind of Ponzi scheme pays back the previous investors. Is that...
I don't know, man. He seems pretty vague. He's saying kinda. He says, to my understanding.
About the gist of it?
What he just said right there is the exact definition of what's called defamation per se.
I don't think so. He's not asserting it as fact. He's speculating. It's pretty clear speculation. And either way, you could easily reach out to him, man, mano a mano, and discuss it with him. But you won't. You're turning to the government. You would like armed men to instigate force and initiate force on other people for using words, Chille. That's all that this video has shown. Okay, and another thing, man, I'm not going to go there.
Say, defamation means making a false statement of fact that harms someone's reputation. Defamation per se applies to a certain type of false statement that are so serious the law automatically assumes damages. There's no need to prove financial loss or specific harm. The court recognizes four main categories of defamation per se: accusing someone of a crime or immoral intent, alleging fraud, dishonesty, or misconduct in their profession. When a false statement falls into one of these categories, it is automatically considered defamation. Damages are presumed. No further proof of harm is needed.
What damages, Chille? It's the fucking internet. Everybody lies about everybody else. That's what the fucking internet is. You thin-skinned motherfucker. How dare you turn to government? That is so So low of you. My cat agrees. Did you hear that? Even felines know that that's detestable. Chille DeCastro, my man. You sure are a horse of a different color, my friend. And them colors be showing. I just don't know.
There is a presumption that a person is harmed when made the object of such false statements of fact. The reason why a Ponzi scheme accusation qualifies is calling someone a Ponzi schemer hits multiple defamation per se triggers. It accuses them of...
He didn't accuse you of having a Ponzi scheme. He used Ponzi scheme as an analogy. And that's pretty clear in the video.
Of federal criminal fraud, a felony. It alleges professional dishonesty and deceptive business practices. It destroys public trust in their financial integrity. That's not an opinion. It's a factual accusation of criminal conduct.
It was absolutely an opinion and was clearly not a factual, what were the words? Not a factual accusation of criminal conduct. Might have been a vague insinuation that you have been involved in criminal conduct. But, you know, while we're at it, Chille, how come I've paid you for a trifold and I haven't gotten it? How come I've given you my email address when you have professed to give away trifolds and I haven't gotten it? Weird, man. I haven't even gotten a reply when I've given you Cash App when you've promised to reply. You know, and it's this repeated behavior that I think people are starting to catch on to. You know, it's not one or two things. It's ongoing issues with Chille DeCastro. I'm not trying to speak for anybody but myself, and my interactions one-on-one with you are very limited, but they're not really positive. You know, you don't come across as honest from my interactions with you. And I think that this video is serving to show that.
And under the law, that's presumed damaged reputation. And that's the reason why I wish I had sued those guys in 2020 who called me racist. Because there is still...
How fucking sad, dude. If you can't handle somebody calling you racist, man, you should find another line of work.
This world, a small fraction of people who will believe that I'm racist no matter what I've ever said or done. So I wish I...
So what? Who the fuck cares what people think, you thin-skinned bitch?
I'd sued them, and I wasn't going to let this one pass by.
That's what we're guessing, to be
You thin-skinned bitch.
fair. I don't 100%
Sue me.
know. I'm still trying to piece together. So what I know for sure, after looking up, is that he tends to start a lot of these corporations, these LLCs, immediately lets them fall apart. So they get administratively suspended, which means he'll incorporate and then he'll never file an annual filing. So the business falls apart. I've been told by numerous people now that what he's doing is he's essentially using it as a front to get investor money and then apply for lines of credit.
So she was told by numerous people, meaning she called my friends and family, and that's a fact. I have another affidavit.
You can't hold her accountable for sharing a conversation she had with somebody else. That is hearsay, isn't it?
He applies for multiple lines of credit. Well, for Kate to win in this federal tort lawsuit, all you have to do is prove that I applied for multiple lines of credit. And all I have to do is show that I have not applied for multiple lines of credit, because I haven't. It gets worse.
On products that...
How do you prove that you haven't, Chille? You can't prove a negative.
never come to fruition and then just kind of drops it. What the assumption is at this point is that he's probably using the money that he gets
Assumption.
from the next product that's never going to happen to pay back something from the people that invested on the previous product that never happened. But honestly, from what I know about and what I've heard about at this point from multiple people, not just you, he also employs blackmail and extortion and threats a lot.
Blackmail and extortion. This woman has a following of 30,000.
She literally said the words, from what I've heard from, quote, you and a lot of other people. This is not firsthand knowledge. She is sharing what she has heard about you, man. And if she's hearing that from a lot of people, why are you suing her for it instead of addressing it? You know what that shows? That shows you got something to hide. God damn, dude.
38,000 people. So for her to win, or for her to beat me in the federal tort lawsuit, all that would be required is to get one single person to come forward and say that I blackmailed and extorted them. Josh is going to tell Lackluster that I blackmailed and extorted him for 10 days, but Lackluster never asked for proof of that.
And it doesn't fall at that, because it gets to a point where he has so many
So what?
liens on him.
Okay, so once again, this is demonstrably false. I don't have so many liens on me. It's just not true.
It could be that he's just literally like, people invest in him, realize that their money isn't going.
So if people are wrong about you, you sue them? Dude, low. And there, look, there's that shit-eating grin, Chilli. There's that shit-eating grin.
And is not going to be making any money, and then he has shit on them, holds it over their head, so they don't want to fucking say anything. That could be it too. I don't know.
So that's ridiculous and that's preposterous. And all she has to do is just get any person to come forward and say that anything like that is true. Statements that mix "I'm not sure" disclaimers with serious criminal accusations are not legally protected just because they include hedging language. Courts have consistently held you defamation liability by inserting vague doubt while still delivering damaging factual claims. If the overall message implies that the person committed crimes of fraud, it can still be actionable defamation per se, even if.
So deal with it like a man instead of running to government like a bitch. Okay? You are doing what you got locked up for. You're doing what you got locked up for, Chille DeCastro. Okay? Let that sink in, buddy. This is not an admirable route to take. And even if suing and taking legal action was necessary, which I'm still not convinced it is, and I don't think I would do the same. I think I would probably want to talk to those people live, and I would definitely, let the truth stand, right? So, oh man, I got off on a tangent. But either way, I'm not convinced at all that this is worth a lawsuit. But you're running to the very people that locked you up for using words.
If phased as speculation. The law looks at the overall impression on a reasonable listener, not just the exact words used.
I don't want to bring the attention to the victim that's involved in these cases, and I haven't had time to edit out their names, but I think that
So, what victim?
at least two of the people on this panel have seen the totality of the criminal record that does exist. I mean, charged convictions like stalking, a strangulation charge, multiple restraining orders.
I'm not familiar with any strangulation. I would have to see that.
That is just so ridiculously preposterous. There's just nothing like that. There's nothing like that. It's just Josh gets going on a roll, and the longer the podcast goes on with James Freeman and
So talk about it, man. Don't fucking sue him. Don't get men paid by the state to extract money from him under the threat of violence. Okay? That's just sad. That's really, man, disrespectable.
Lackluster and this troll, the more brazen he gets about just creating crazy stories. I'm talking insane.
The only reason
What did you just do? You just accused Lackluster of essentially lying for money, didn't you? Because his job is to tell stories, right? You just did the same shit that they're... Oh, man. You don't get it, do you?
The reason I'm pointing that out is because I try to be fair, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy.
This woman tries to be fair to nobody.
In some of these commercial background sites in particular, there seems to be some sort of misnomer, and so he's actually having some charges attributed to him. And when you go back in the courts and look, it's either not him or it's somebody that has a really close name.
So you mix, I'm not sure with serious criminal accusations, but she's not 100% sure. But she's sure that
But she's retracting something from what I understand and saying that it wasn't you.
Ponzi scheme, I extort, and I blackmail.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a criminal record. Again,
Really?
I think the most major thing would be that GHB manufacturing and sale, which I know now was a diversion, a drug court diversion. Thank you very much, Massachusetts courts. But, I still am not entirely convinced that he's not a fucking snitch.
All she has to do is prove that I've been...
I'm not either, dude. There's something about you. You come across like a Fed. And you have, since day one, there's something about you. You just don't present as genuine to what you claim to be. And, yeah. Sue me.
I've been convicted of manufacturing, distribution, GHB. Just prove that, and then I'm not going to garnish your wages. Let me explain something.
Everything I'm saying here right now is satire. Obviously, it has nothing to do with reality, and I'm insinuating nothing about anybody. Right, Chilli?
Even clearer. You can't call somebody a snitch or an informant because it's defamation if it's false.
She said, I'm not entirely convinced he's not a snitch. That's not at all the same thing as saying you are.
It suggests dishonesty, betrayal, cooperation with the government. For activists, it attacks their core credibility and can cause serious harm. Even maybe he's a snitch can be actionable if it implies a factual claim. Courts look at how the audience interprets the statement, not just the wording. So what's important for you guys to understand, the way that defamation is defined is...
What are you an activist for? You're an activist for free speech? Oh, man. How do you not understand this, Chilli? How do you not see this? And you run into the people that you... Oh, man, it's just so... It is satire.
Did a credible source say something about you, and then a third party bring you back that information and present it to you as something that you had done that's factual? And I have hundreds of screenshots of people saying I'm a Ponzi schemer, I'm extorter.
So what? So what? I literally have not heard a single word of this until you brought it up, numbskull, and I'm unemployed. Bro, I got nothing to do but watch fucking YouTube and play guitar. It did not damage your reputation. You damage your own reputation by whining, and then whining so bad you end up suing people.
I'm a snitch for the government. I have hundreds of screenshots.
Show the screenshots then. She never said you were a snitch for the government. She said you were a snitch.
Prove my defamation per se.
I was kind of tight-lipped about it, and for my own sake and freedom, I did remove the video. And just
so this is the most outrageous, preposterous thing ever. The lies and the incredible lies that Josh tells here, and how Dale is so easily looped into this as someone who's supposed to be an investigative journalist. Never asked Josh to see some proof that I was doing the things to him that he's saying I was doing.
You're not showing proof either, buddy.
So if anything did happen to me, there was documentation of it, but I want you guys to know what's happened. When I see $136 missing from my
again, implying that if something happens to him, whoa, am I some sort of psycho? Like I'm a crazy person?
debit account.
Now, this is the craziest one. This is not the craziest one. There's 3 stories in a row he's going to make up here. Each one gets crazier.
Let him talk, Chilli.
Than the next. But this one here is demonstrably false because there's financial...
So let him say it and then demonstrate.
receipts.
Notice that, right? So as you guys can see, let's find that 386. That was for a hotel. I went on my account and paid for Chilli's hotel. So you can see right there, that's from 5/29/2022.
That's not how it went at all. I have the recorded call with Josh where he invited me to
Paid for Chilli's hotel. So you can see right there, that's from 5/29/2022.
That's not how it went at all. I have the recorded call with Josh.
Oh, you made a whole fucking PowerPoint presentation script. God. What the hell?
Where he invited me to Massachusetts and said I could stay at his house. I didn't know he was the person that he is. And when I got there, the tune changed to "you can't stay with me because my mom." Then he says, "well, let me put the card down for your room." He does pay for one of the 3 nights I stayed there. But then watch these receipts.
That was for 2.
Wait, so what part of it... Okay, what part of what he just said wasn't true then? You said what preceded this wasn't true. And now you're saying listen to what follows. Come on, Chilli.
Night stay so he could go out and film with us.
There's no us. It's just Josh. It's an argumentative fallacy.
Us can also refer to his business, his LLC.
It's us over here, and we're against you.
Shortly after the Kate incident happened, right after the Kate incident happened, I look at my account and I see this $130.69 charge, which is strange because I didn't pay for his room. I call up the place and I'm told that he used my card. And he told me...
Again, that's something that he is being told by a hotel. Maybe you should sue the hotel instead of whatever his name is.
No, I gave them my card information and they just must have made a mistake. I spoke to the woman at the front desk. She was very clear. First of all, this kind of mistake cannot happen because if he's swiping a new card versus just recharging a card that's in the system, it's 2 separate prompts. So that couldn't have been a mistake.
See, Chilli, had you not said a single thing, I probably would have believed you. I don't know about that. But this is definitely hurting your credibility. It's thou doth protest too much.
Secondly, she said straight up, he was very clear, charge the card on file. So now we have all these issues of dishonesty.
So that's not true at all. There's the money. I paid for my own room. He paid for 1 night. And then there's the payback money of the $130 plus $75 for my half of food. It's just provable.
Buddy, you beat a woman, and when you beat a woman, you threatened me with imprisonment.
Money of the $130 plus $75 for my half of...
When? All this says is May 28th at 3:08 p.m. So when is that in relation to the video? That could have been after you got called out.
Of food. It's just provable.
Buddy, you beat a woman, and when you beat a woman...
So maybe take it up with the hotel.
You threatened me with imprisonment, even though you hate imprisonment, and you hate the cops, but you ran to...
Exactly. Even though you cried, dude, you cried and made videos crying to Brian from Here's the Deal. Hey, cat, stop that. Thank you. About how he was scratching at my couch. About how horrible county jail was, man. Grow a pair, first of all. Crying to another dude about county jail is not honorable. And least of all, to have it put online, dude, that's just, I had to scrub my body after I heard your video. But after that, now you are sicking that very government on people for their words, which is what you got locked up for.
Ran to quickly, and then you stole from me, and now you're Ponzi scheming everyone, and you're trying to take over my home. Like that's what
Yeah, that was more direct.
the divisiveness was.
The narrative that these guys wanted to get going was that I had attacked this woman that I'm suing for defamation. And so they say
So the lesson I'm learning is don't trust Chilli.
things that are
I have never in my life been in a position to be suing multiple people at the same time. You know, who does that say more about? The people that are getting sued or the person doing the suing?
completely defamation because there was 50 cops there and they did not like me or Josh at all whatsoever. False accusation of public assault in front of police. Falsely claiming someone committed assault in front of police officers without arrest is defamation per se. This accusation is self-contradictory and obviously false because police are largely required to arrest for witnessed domestic violence or assault. No arrest equals no crime occurred in their presence. The claim defies basic police procedure and common sense. Multiple defamation categories.
Dude, you make a living proving cops violate the law based on subjective matters. Dude, you make a living proving that wrong. God. Really? Really, Chilli?
Are violated. Criminal conduct, assault is a serious crime, professional harm, destroys reputation and moral character, implies violence against women.
Beating up is kind of, I wouldn't call it beating up.
That he's got his van backed into my driveway with an extension cord running out of the sunroof, and it's plugged into my, and I'm wondering why the Wi-Fi isn't working.
It's ridiculous. And the crazy part about me watching this is that the more it goes on, the longer it goes, the more Dale is so easily gaslit, so easily led by these guys who are, spurring the charge that I'm the worst person in the whole wide world.
When we went on recess.
That's hyperbolic. He didn't say you're the worst person in the whole wide world at all. So why do you care what people think of you? Are you a man?
He immediately started messaging me while I was outside during the court recess.
Once again, it's demonstrably false.
What?
Restraining order on the woman I'm suing in this video. When I went to the restraining order hearing, Josh was there for her. Yeah. But Josh is claiming here that during the recess of the restraining order hearing, that I started blowing him up on text message. So all Josh has to do to beat my defamation charge is show those text messages. And surely Lackluster would have asked for them.
I just haven't went public with any of the stuff that's been going on, but this stuff has been going on for 10 days.
He made this video about June 10th, June 9th. I was within 1 week of my statute of limitations. What stuff's been going on for 10 days? There's receipts of everything now. So in which way were you being threatened? This stuff has been going on for 10 days?
I don't know.
Got a receipt of that, Josh?
Apparently I am a snake in the grass because I released a video of him beating up a chick, and I wouldn't hide that video.
Falsely claiming I beat a chick up is defamation per se.
He has this long substantiated history of blackmailing people.
All Josh has to do is get one person, just one.
I don't know, man. I just don't think you're selling your case as well as you think, Jose DeCastro. All right, that's all I got. I'm 40 minutes behind, 41 minutes, and he's just going to go play the victim with a shit-eating grin. Watch how his eyes never match his entire face, okay? And then, guys, don't trust this guy. Sue me. I wouldn't trust this guy.